Hi everyone, this is my review for Blackhat, a realistic cyber thriller, that's how I call it. It's an interesting film. I just have my resume, I'm gonna read it to you, give it to you. It's an interesting film. It tells the story of a prisoner named Nick Hathaway, played by Chris Hemsworth, who was convicted for hacking, but recommended by a former college friend to the FBI. So this friend is Captain Chen Dawei, played by Lee-Hom Wang, star in China, in Asia. He works for the Chinese government in a cyber warfare unit, and his country has apparently been hacked by remote access. So it's a rat. It's a rat. It's a term used. It's a computer jargon in general. It caused death and injured many workers in a nuclear plant. And right after the Chinese tragedy, the Chicago Trade Exchange was attacked also, which led to the FBI's intervention. The numbers went up. So companies, people lost money. So when they lose money, rich people lose money most of the time. Big corporations, especially, or banks, it's federal jurisdiction. They're gonna have to take things into their own hands. And what we know later, Hathaway and Dawei were the original architects of the virus or the code back in college. So Dawei's friend is the ideal man for the job. Hathaway's the guy. He's the guy who can solve it. And joining the captain's team, you have his sister Chen, played by Tang Wei, another Asian star, known in Asia also. She's a tech professional, and you have also two agents. Yeah, so Chen is she's a tech expert, she's a tech professional, but you have Agent Barrett, played by Viola Davis, and Jessa, played by Holt McCallany. And yeah, what man, it's a solid cast. It's very good. Later on, they move from LA to Asia. They investigate. They acquire a hard drive too, containing information to track the hacker responsible for the casualty. Sorry, in China. But it's not enough. Of course, there's a. It's like the information is kind of maybe a little bit damaged, so they need to reconstruct it, and they need a software program called Black Widow, and that's only property of the NSA, the National Security Agency. And unfortunately, because well, they are FBI, they don't have access to it, and of course sometimes federal agencies don't share information between each other. So the only thing Hathaway can do is to hack it, and that will cost him dearly, unfortunately. And that's where it goes, and that's where it starts, kind of, that really big ride. And yeah, just to give you my comments quickly, it's a good film. It's very real. It's realistic. It's a realistic take on cyber terrorism in general. Uh, of course, Michael Mann uses DV cameras in general in his film, like he did with Miami Vice, Public Enemies, Ali. It gives a realism in general. Looks real. It's really about aesthetic too. Right? Aesthetic is very important in film in general. So it makes an all difference. And that's his approach. It's real. Same thing with the action. The action looks real. It's realistic. The way things are done. It's not necessarily there to entertain. It will surprise us, or it will entertain us too, but it's that's not the purpose. He wants to make things look real. That's a Michael Mann strength as well, in general. So I really enjoy that from him. It's what else I could say? Okay, it's about cyber terrorism. We know that. It's really up to date. It's contemporary. It's part of society now, with technology that is quite advanced now these days compared to a few decades ago. And of course, it's part of a technological war. The actors, they're perfect. Every one of them, they're all good. Chris Hemsworth, he's playing a different guy now. It's different from what he used to do before. So it's interesting to see him in that. And Viola Davis, everyone, all the actors are quite good. Those I've mentioned. And what else again? Of course, there's the realism I spoke about. And yeah, like things can look like out of the ordinary in general, especially for Chen and Hathaway when they go from Jakarta in Indonesia. That's a part of the movie. Okay, they're not really federal agents, but yeah, you know, if they run for their lives and you know they kind of gotta save the world somehow, you know, it's possible. It's possible because they had ties with the FBI, with a federal agency. So it can look real because you never know. Like sometimes, like you wonder what happens with people who work for those agencies. So that's it brings a good question. And yeah, so that's what I had to say pretty much of it. The scenario is great, the structure is good, it's very fluid. The story is it's a good story, so I would give it an 8, 9 out of 10. Might not be Michael Mann's best film, but it's quite good. It's quite good. It's real. It's probably the best cyber movie you'll see, and a movie about the web and terrorism, and it's the best. So that's what, compared to Hacker or previous films before, it's the most realistic, and I suggest you guys to watch it and have a good time at the movies, at the theater. So